I hope everybody has got the text properly. We are in the paragraph, middle of the paragraph, and the paragraph begins with that equality, impersonality is joy, freedom. Okay? It's quite a long para, and we are in the middle. Prabhu, Vibhu. Okay? So we'll start from there, finish the para, and read the last para of the chapter. And the next chapter is equality. Very, very important chapter. Okay, so I'm beginning. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ranganath.
Yeah, but you can hear me clearly. I can't hear you clearly.
We can hear you, Ranganath.
Absolutely loud and clear.
All of your voices are very, very weak.
Oh, okay.
Now it's better. Okay, so I'm reading. Okay, so we are in the middle, and I'm reading the sentence. For this soul is the one impersonal soul in all, the all-pervading Lord, Prabhu, Vibhu. Okay, so Prabhu is the Lord, and Vibhu is also the Lord, but the prefix V suggests wideness. So that means to say that it is the Lord in the cosmos. Okay, so Prabhu, Vibhu. And before that, he has spoken about the nine-gated city. The nine-gated city is your body with 9 orifices, with 9 cavities. Okay, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, and the 2 organs at the lower end of the body. So he is there inside. So he is Prabhu, Vibhu, and also he is seated in the nine-gated city. Okay, who, as the impersonal, neither creates the works of the world nor the mind's idea of being the doer. Na kartritvam, na karmani. Now that's interesting because you have to see the Lord transcendent is not acting directly in the physical world. He does not create all these things. He deputes his assistant manager, if you want, okay, nature to do the work. So it is nature which is doing all the work. Nature is a force, the divine force, but when it comes down to the physical world, seems to become unconscious and mechanical. Okay, so Lord, Prabhu, Vibhu, who as the impersonal neither creates the works of the world nor the mind's idea of being the doer. Na kartritvam, na karmani, nor the coupling of works to their fruits. He doesn't do that. We do that. We want always success with our actions. So we do the coupling, but he does not do it. So you can possibly do works without expecting the results. That's the whole idea. Okay. All that is worked out by the nature in man, Swabhava, his principle of self-becoming, as the word literally means. So each one has got a Swabhava. Swabhava, as we have discussed very often, the nature and the character of the soul. Okay? Even the soul essentially divine, but it has got characteristics, it's got a nature. One nature may want only knowledge, one nature wants action, one nature wants bravery and courage and adventure. So these are the things that he's talking about. So the divine is acting, and he is acting through the universe as well as through the individuals. So his action is there, the action is there, but through many layers. The first layer is the nature, and the second layer is the individual. And so it is really the divine who is doing all the work in the physical world, but through the distorting element of nature and the distorting element of the individual. Okay, so that's why and man having the ego thinks that he is doing the work. Actually, is nature doing the work, and divine ordaining and doing it through nature. So the all-pervading impersonal accepts neither the sin nor the virtue of any. These are things created by the ignorance in the creature, by his egoism of the doer, by his ignorance of his highest self, by his involution in the operations of nature, and when the self-knowledge within him is released from this dark envelope, that knowledge lights up like a sun, the real self within him. Big, uh, big sentence. We'll look at it carefully. The all-pervading impersonal. The all-pervading impersonal, and the cosmic Lord, okay, the Vibhu, the all-pervading impersonal accepts neither the sin nor the virtue of any. So what does he accept? He accepts only the soul. Okay? He does not see. That's why spiritual people are least bothered about your outer defects or your virtues. They are not at all bothered about your virtues either. Okay? Mother is seeing only the soul and seeing at what stage of development it is there. And she will help the soul, not the body-mind life. Okay? So they will make conditions for the body-mind life to be most conducive to the progress of the soul. Okay? If you have got a suffering, okay, in the body-mind life, and if that suffering is very, very beneficial to your development of the soul, then it will be allowed to remain. And you will feel that the divine is very cruel, but actually he is the most kind. Okay? In fact, in aphorisms, Srivastava says very interesting things. He says, divine appearing cruel is actually the kindest of all. When he imposes cruelty on you, he is being the most kind. And that's why Srivastava invokes suffering. Okay? He's saying, if the divine leaves me without any difficulty, then I know that he is not paying much attention to me. Mother also says that. She says that the one who is without any trouble in life, if you are leading a normal life, okay? If you are leading a normal life, then maybe you are not meant for a spiritual life. The moment you start a spiritual life, there are bound to be problems. Why? Because of your imperfections. You want a spiritual life, which implies that you want to get rid of your defects. And if you want to get rid of your defects, difficulties will come. It's very obvious. Okay? So this is what is being said. The all-pervading impersonal accepts neither the sin nor the virtue of any. These are things created by the ignorance in the creature, by his egoism of the doer, by his ignorance of the highest self, by his involution in the operations of nature. And when self-knowledge within him is released from this dark envelope, body is the darkest, the vital also is the dark envelope, and the mind is less dark, but still it's an envelope of darkness. Okay? That knowledge lights up like a sun, the real self within him. There's a verse in the Gita which says, Jnana Deepena Bhasvata, by the light of the knowledge. The lamp of knowledge lights you up within. That's what I'm referring to. Then he knows himself then to be the soul supreme, supreme above the instruments of nature. Instruments of nature, your mind, life, body. Pure, infinite, inviolable, immutable. He is no longer affected. When your consciousness rises out of the body, mind, life, nothing affects you. Okay? Everything is there in the physical world, but doesn't affect you. No longer does he imagine himself to be modified by her workings. What does that sentence mean? No longer he imagines himself modified by her workings. Her workings, nature's workings. And you are changing from day to day. Even when you are breathing, you are changing yourself. And that is the mutability in the physical world. But the self is immutable, no change at all. And you have identified yourself with the self, and therefore there is no change at all. You are absolutely static. Okay? No longer he imagines himself to be modified by her workings. But this implies immutability of the self. By complete identification with the impersonal, he can too release himself from the necessity of returning by birth into her movement. This is what the Gita says. Okay? But Sri Aurobindo has a slightly more complicated procedure. Okay? He says that you must be a Jivan Mukta. In other words, when you attain to the self, you are not situated in the body mind life. You are only a witness. You are looking from above and seeing your body mind life. That's not enough for liberation. Okay, the soul is liberated, but that's not enough because the karma, the law of karma in the body mind life continues. So you have to come down again in another birth to work out those that karma which is there already given to you. So if you are in the body, but you are a Jivan Mukta, that means to say, even while you are in the body, okay, you have a divine consciousness or the consciousness of the self, then you are a Jivan Mukta. And Jivan Mukta, a little bit of difficulty is there in the body mind life, like all avatars have problems. No? Ramakrishna had cancer of the throat. That's an old karma working itself out. Sri Aurobindo had problems in the prostate gland. Okay, so and Raman Maharshi had cancer in the shoulder. These are the law of karma working itself out while the consciousness is clear and up. So then you have the choice of not returning to birth. You have a choice of returning also if you want, but when you return, you are not likely to be enmeshed in the senses and the ignorance. You will take birth again, maybe a small period, early period of infancy, you are subject to it. Then as soon as you grow sufficiently old and become aware of yourself, that also disappears. Okay? So that's what Shambhi is saying. So the Gita says that when you are liberated, it's enough to become not to return to the world. So now we read the last sentence of last para of the chapter. Okay. So who will read? Any one of you who is ready and has the text? Let's read it. Who has the text?
I have text, but there is a
Yes.
lot of disturbance. So in case it is disturbing, tell me. Then I will stop.
So we can hear you clearly, Tarika. I think
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
read.
because there's some work going on in the house, no, so it might be disturbing. That's it. I'll read. Okay.
Go ahead.
And yet, this liberation does not at all prevent him from acting. Only he knows that it is not he who is active, but the modes, the qualities of nature, her triple gunas. The man who knows the principles of things thinks his mind in yoga with the inactive impersonal, I am doing nothing. When he sees, hears, tastes, smells, eats, moves, sleeps, breathes, speaks, takes, ejects, opens his eyes or closes them, he holds that it is only the senses acting upon the objects of the senses. He himself, safe in the immutable, unmodified soul, is beyond the grip of the three gunas, Trigunatita. He is neither sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. He sees with a clear, untroubled spirit the alternations of the natural modes and qualities in his action. Their rhythmic play of light and happiness, activity and force, rest and inertia. This superiority of the calm soul, observing its action but not involved in it, this Trigunatitya is also a high sign of the divine worker. By itself, the idea might lead to a doctrine of the mechanical determinism of nature and the perfect aloofness and irresponsibility of the soul. But the Gita effectively avoids this fault of an insufficient thought by its illumining, supertheistic idea of the Purushottama. It makes it clear that it is not in the end nature which mechanically determines its own action. It is the will of the Supreme which inspires her. He who has already slain the Dhritarashtrians, he of whom Arjuna is only the human instrument, a universal soul, a transcendent Godhead, is the master of her labor. The reposing of works in the impersonal is a means of getting rid of the personal egoism of the doer, but the end is to give up all our actions to that great Lord of all, Sarva Bhuta Maheshwara. With a consciousness identified with the self, renouncing all thy actions into me, Mai Sarvani Karmani Sam Sanyasyat Yatmana Chetasa Atma Chetasa, freed from personal hopes and desires, from the thought of I and mine, delivered from the fever of the soul, fight, work, do my will in the world. The divine motives inspires, determines the entire action. The human soul, impersonal in the Brahman, is the pure and silent channel of his power. That power in the nature executes the divine movement. Such only are the works of the liberated soul. Muktasya karma, for in nothing does he act from a personal inception. Such are the actions of the accomplished karma yogi. They rise from a free spirit and disappear without modifying it, like waves that rise and disappear on the surface of conscious, immutable depth. Gata sangasya muktasya jnana vasthi
ज्ञानावस्थित चेतसः
jnanavasthita chetasa yajna
यज्ञा यज्ञया यज्ञाया आचरत
yajnaya acharatah karma samagram
प्रविलीयते.
praviliyate.
All works are, he is freed from all works. Okay. So last paragraph, and he is summarizing the whole thing. So let's read quickly. We're going to finish chapter 2. And yet this liberation does not at all prevent him from acting. Okay. Normally it's true that when you go to the Brahmic consciousness, there is an unwillingness to work because you feel that you are not part of the body-mind life. You feel yourself to separate from the body-mind life. So the urge to action reduces. Okay. Of course, you have to go to the, you have to work, continue to work. Okay. I told you, I had a friend whose mother told him that you are in the Brahmic consciousness and I'm very happy. I told mother, but I'm not working much. Mother said, no, I'm very happy. Okay. Because he had reached a spiritual stage. It is very important. And he used to not be very keen on work. He was my compatriot. He was my co-worker in the press. And I had to drag him. My habit was, I am very action-oriented. The press used to open at 1 o'clock. And I had to be there. I wanted to be there always when the workers are there. It's true that there's a laxity in the ashram because the freedom given is misused and people don't go on time. Okay, that's true. But he was also not willing to work at 1 o'clock. So I had to drag him. So there is a little bit of the unwillingness to work. That's what Sridhar is pointing out here. And yet this liberation does not at all prevent him from acting. He can work if he wants. Okay. So only he knows that it is not he who is active, but the modes. What are the modes? The qualities of nature, the triple gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. In other words, you can, to make it less abstract, is your body-mind life. Okay? Your body-mind life which is active. The man who knows the principle of things thinks his mind in yoga with the inactive personal. I am doing nothing. When he sees, hears, tastes, smells, eats, moves, sleeps, breathes, speaks, takes and ejects. Okay? So Why Sri Aurobindo is doing all this? He is actually translating the verses in chapter 5, verse 8 and 9. All these are mentioned. Okay, so yeah.
Rangada,
Yes.
Rangada,
Yes.
in my text it is hears, touches, not tastes.
That's right. I have also got that. That is the, you have got the recent one. That is the CWSA. Yeah.
So it
that's,
is,
but the earlier,
it is modified to touches, right?
yeah, that's right. Because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The letters are almost same, and the first letter and the last letter are the same.
Same, yes.
T and S. So sometimes Srim's handwriting was not very legible. So when they started revising the text, they found that it is not taste but touches. Okay. So they changed it. That's right. You're right.
But Rangada, it could be both, no?
That's right.
Because he is talking about the five senses.
Yes. That's right.
Taste is one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could be both.
Yes, it can be both, but it depends on what Srimda is written. Okay. And this is a very difficult problem. We have seen, I used to do proofreading in the archives, and Srimda's handwriting is sometimes so difficult that you can interpret in two ways, and both the ways are correct. It's very often it happens like that. I had got very interesting examples, but now I don't remember. Otherwise, I would have given you examples of how the reading changes, but the meaning remains more or less the same. Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting. So, and this is what the Gita is saying in the chapter 5, verse 8 and
But here he has given eats. So it has to be, because eats is tastes, no?
yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, but
So
in the Gita it is touches or tastes?
I'll have to check. I think it is, I don't remember. I'll have to check. Okay. Well, if you're so interested, I'll just check it just now. 1 minute. Chapter 5.
Chapter 5, which sloka, Rangada?
Yeah. Sloka 8 and 9. Just 1 second. I'll tell you what the verse is. 5th chapter, 8 and 9. 6, 7, 8 and 9. So, 8 and 9. So, here, Naiva Kenchit Karoti iti yukta yukto manyeta tattvavid. This is what the Tattvavid says. So, the Persian seeing, okay, hearing,
First.
expression, touching. Okay, so it is touching. So Srimda is right when he says touching. No, but he put taste. Okay. So it's touching. Expression is touching. Okay. Then jigran, smelling. Okay. Ashnan, eating. Then achan, walking or moving. Okay. Swapan, sleeping. Then shwasan, breathing. Okay. Pralapan, talking. Okay. Then Pralapan, Visrijan. Visrijan is the two organs at the lower end of the body when you are ejecting. Okay. Has Shri used ejecting?
Yes, ejects.
Yeah,
Ejects
that's right.
he has written.
So ejection is there. Okay. That is Visrijan. Visrijan. To release from the body. Okay. Then Grihnan, grasping. What is Shri said?
Holds that in.
Okay, so Grihnan. Okay. Then Unmission, opening the eyes and closing the eyes.
Those, yes.
Indriyani, Indriyartheshu Vartante, iti Dharayan. So those are the two. So that's why he listed the whole thing. But he got this one. He didn't have the Gita when he was writing this from memory. Okay. So he got it so right. Only taste. Actually,
Touches.
yeah, touches. So maybe Srimla did write touches, but the fellows who did the SABCL, they said tasty. Because they didn't know the Gita probably. That's why. Okay, so the one who is in the self, not identified with the body mind life, his body mind life continues to do all these things. He is eating, sleeping, grasping, okay, doing his morning duties, everything he is doing. But it is not the soul that is doing. It's only the body mind life that is doing. He is free. Okay, that's what he's saying. Even opening his eyes and closing them, he holds that's only the senses acting upon the objects of the senses. He himself, safe in the immutable, unmodified soul. Note the word unmodified because the soul is immutable. It is absolutely without any movement. It's only a witness. It is not doing anything at all. It's just watching. And watching without judgment. Okay? That's why the other day, Seema, she is not there today, but she was saying that it's like a camera. It's absolutely correct. The camera watches without emotion and does not make any judgment. So very often, the image used for the self is exactly that. It's like a camera. It records everything without any emotion, exactly as it is. That's a self. Okay. So he himself, safe in the immutable, unmodified soul, is beyond the grip of the three gunas. Triguna, Atita, Atita, Triguna, Atita, beyond the three gunas. He is neither sattvic, nor rajasic, nor tamasic. Okay? Even the sattvic has gone, okay? Because that also is part of the sattva. Sattva is part of the body mind life. He sees with a clear, untroubled spirit. Untroubled again, no movement at all. And clarity is there. The alternations of the natural modes and qualities in his action. Sometimes he is happy, sometimes he is unhappy. The rhythmic play of light and happiness, activity and force, rest and inertia. Note the word rhythmic. It's very interesting. Okay, sometimes there are even these things come to us in rhythm. Okay? They're almost a regularity to this light and darkness, happiness. Sometimes without any physical cause, it can happen. And the word rhythm, Sarvi is very fond of rhythm. He also uses the word rhythms in the universe. And if you see very clearly, you will see that the movement, see, in the self there is no movement. In the physical world there is movement. But is this movement chaotic or is there a method in it? And Srivna points out that there is a method in it. And that is rhythm. How interesting if you see the sun is going round, not the sun actually, the earth is going around the sun rhythmically. Okay? Then the day and night also rhythm. The moon also is going around in rhythm. Even your heart is beating in rhythm. Everything is rhythmic in the physical world. It is not a chaotic movement. Okay? So it's very interesting. In Life Divine, he uses the word rhythmic very often. Rhythmic movement in the physical world. Okay? I continue with the text. They had gone. Okay. Rhythmic play of light and darkness, happiness, activity and force, rest and inertia. This superiority of the calm soul, observing its action, but not involved in it. It is not acting, but it is watching only. This Triguna Atitya. Triguna Atitya, Triguna Atitya becomes Triguna Atitya, is also a high sign of the divine worker. So, the divine worker has to be Trigunatita. By itself, the idea, now, Seth is making a very interesting remark. By itself, the idea might lead to a doctrine of the mechanical determinism of nature and the perfect aloofness and irresponsibility of the soul. Okay? But the Gita effectively avoids this fault of an insufficient thought by its illuminating super-theistic idea of the Purushottam. This is the saving grace, because in the Sankhya philosophy, which we have seen earlier, they stop at the spiritual planes of consciousness level 2. And you say that it's enough to disengage your soul from the body-mind life and you are free. That's all. But the Gita goes one step more. It says that may not necessarily lead you to the liberation really. So there is a third level, which is the Purushottama level. Okay? And that's why I said they use the word super theistic. It goes even beyond the theism of the spiritual planes of consciousness. It goes to the third level. So very clearly, the Gita is speaking of three levels. Yeah? So level one, that's why I keep repeating the levels. It helps a lot in understanding the structure of these planes. Level one is our normal ignorance. That is the Kshara Purusha, to use the words of the Gita. Kshara Purusha. Your psychic being is subject to mutation. It is growing. It is changing. Then you go to the self, the second level, which is the immutable. No movement at all. That's why Akshara. Akshara Purusha. Then the third level, the Uttama Purusha. So Uttama Purusha becomes Purushottama. Okay? Where you are in complete control of level 1 and level 3. You can even become Jivan Mukta. You can come down to the physical world and still you can enter into your body mind life and not be subject to the effects of the body mind life. That's a lotus leaf in water. Yeah, tell me.
Dada,
Yeah.
when level 1, level 2, level 3, psychicization will come under which plane, Dada? Psychicization?
Psychicization is different. Psychicization is not the spiritual. Psychicization is in the physical world itself. When you are in, that's why Srivda wants psychicization first, because that purifies the body mind life's imperfections. What we are speaking of is the vertical climb. The psychicization is a horizontal transformation. Okay? You are transforming your body mind life with the help of the purifies the body, purifies the vital, and purifies the mind if the psychic comes forward. But that is not at a height. There's a vertical transformation and there's a horizontal transformation. The transformation of the psychic is horizontal. You remain down at your consciousness is not going up. Okay? Only the body gets purified. Actually, it gets purified. Okay? The defects start coming out. Okay? So when you are experiencing this, very often the symbol is the animal part of you, they are coming out of your legs. People who have seen visions, that's what happens. You see that all sorts of small animals are coming out of your legs. Why the legs? Because that's the lowest part. Okay? That's the body. So these animal parts. And what are the animal parts? Jealousy, envy, selfishness. These are the small animal parts in you. Because all animals have these things. So they come out of the legs. So this is the psychicization. It's a very interesting question. And psychicization, I hope you understand, it's a horizontal transformation. Your consciousness is not going up, but your consciousness is at this level only, inside the body-mind life. There is no disengagement with the body-mind life. But you feel the divine presence everywhere, and you are full of bhakti and love for the divine. So this is the first transformation that Shraddha wants, because then it makes the journey much easier. Going to the second level of the spiritual planes of consciousness can be very risky if your body-mind life is impure. It's like climbing a mountain without being prepared for it, you will fall down and break your bones. And the breaking of the bones spiritually means you lose balance, mental balance, vital balance. Okay? So purification, the triple transformation of self-love yoga is first of all, purify yourself by the psychicization. Second level, the transformation of the spiritual planes of consciousness. Psychic transformation, number one. Spiritual transformation, number two, by the self. Third, supramental transformation at the third level. Okay, that will complete self-love yoga. So he is going even beyond the Gita. Okay, so it's clear, I hope, Siman.
Yes, Dada. Thank you very much. Yes, well understood, Dada. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's the horizontal extension, and that is vertical extension consciousness. And without this balabat, unmatabat, pisachabat, everything that will arise if psychicization will not be there at the level of spiritual consciousness. Okay, thank you, Dada. Thank you very much.
Okay. So we come back to our text. Okay, so you realize that you are not doing anything, but Srila says that that does not prevent you from acting in the physical world. So by itself, the idea might lead to a doctrine of mechanical determinism of nature. Okay, because those who go to the self, they see that nature is acting mechanically and without consciousness. But what you are seeing at level 2, when you go to level 3, you see that what seems to be mechanical and unconscious is actually there is a consciousness behind which guiding everything. That's the reason why even the animals that behave, their instinct. Instinct is nothing but the intuition coming into the body, mind, life and acting and making it act in the right way. Migration of birds, okay? Without any reason, without any thinking, there's no thought. They migrate because they know that the cold climate will be harmful to them. So that is what the nature is doing, not so mechanically and unconsciously as you think it to be in the beginning. If you look very carefully, you will see that there is great intelligence in everything that the nature is doing. Look at the tree. When it is looking for water, okay, its roots are hydrophilic. Hydrophobic is fear of water, and hydrophilic is love of water. So the roots are hydrophilic. They go where the water is there. Okay? And the light, okay, they want light also. So if you plant a tree on the footpath, it will go towards the light. It won't go towards the wall, it will go towards the light. They're all branches. Then look at the spider, how it is weaving a web. Now, there's so much of knowledge and logic in it to catch insects. So this is the nature working superficially unconscious, but fully conscious at the deeper end, and is guiding the animals. Okay, so that is what you see when you are at the self. You see nature mechanical and unconscious. The river is flowing, the sun is shining, everything seems to be mechanical. The storms are coming regularly according to the laws of meteorology. Everything seems to be mechanical, but it is not really so. Deeper, the mechanical is only on the surface, and deeper there is a consciousness which is there. Okay, so it makes certainly saying you can work, okay, enter into your body mind life and remain untouched by the imperfections of the body mind life. You are a Jivan Mukta. But Shiva is not satisfied only with Jivan Mukta. He wants also why should there be any defects in the body mind life? Okay? Even that should disappear. So it's a great step that the Gita has taken, going beyond the normal aims of yoga. But Shiva is going even beyond the yoga, beyond the Gita. And he says, perhaps it was not yet time to reveal the next step. Because everything has got a sequence. No? You have to go sequentially. You can't discover everything and get the truth at one stroke. You have to go step by step. So Srila says that very clearly. Okay? He says that the Gita does not reveal that the transformation at the Purushottama level, the possibility of transformation is there at the lower also. So maybe he says later chapters that it is not time to reveal it. Okay, so I go to the next one. It makes it clear, the Gita makes it clear that it is not in the end nature. I lost it. Yeah, just 1 second. Makes it clear that it is not in the end nature which mechanically determines its own action. It is the will of the Supreme which inspires it. This is the Purushottama. He who has already slain the Dhritarashtrans, he whom Arjuna is only the human instrument, a universal soul, a transcendent Godhead, is the master of her labor. I think I'll have to stop here. We'll finish it next time. Okay? And we will review what the qualities of the divine worker are. He has listed everything. So we'll see, we'll finish the chapter and again briefly review who can claim to be a divine worker. No egoism, no attachment, and no desires. But these are the negative things. What are the positive things? Okay? So positive things are absence of egoism. The sense of doership is not there. I am not doing anything. Number one. Number two, absence of desire, aim, target, nothing. You just give yourself to the divine. Third, presence of spiritual impersonal action. You are acting but also impersonal. Fourth, perfect samatha, equality, which is the next chapter. Then last, trigunati, beyond the three modes of nature. If all these five qualities are there, then you can claim to be a divine worker. But the thing is that if you have these five, you will never claim. The claim comes because of the ego. So we will never claim. It's just doing the work. Okay, we'll finish this next time. I'll make a note. The liberated man. No, sorry. We have finished the chapter and we'll start from it is the will of the Supreme. From there we'll start. Okay. Au revoir. Have a nice day.
Bonne journée. Merci beaucoup, Ranganath.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay.
Thank you, Ranganath.